Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's edition of the London Session Open. Today is April 3rd, 2019. And sorry about the issues with the sound. We should be okay now. Getting some confirmation here by Ronnie. So good. Thanks so much, Ronnie. Thanks so much for your help. So, guys, yes, we're going to take a look at the markets. There's some interesting things happening with the euro, but also stock markets and crypto. So we're going to look at that to give you guys a bit of an input on, what to look for if you're trading. As well, I wanted to let you know, guys, that with ATFX, we are hopefully by the end of this month going to launch a 3-hour educational course, which is really sort of the best I accumulated in form of knowledge and trading over the last 10 years I've been trading, actually 12 years now. So we're going to have that. That's going to be available to anybody that opens account with ATFX. As well, I wanted to guys let you know that we're already offering coaching to people that open up accounts with ATFX. You get 2 30-minute coachings with me, and this is quite neat because when I was doing this for Londinium, the actual courses I was selling them for a few £100, and the other courses, the coaching. Now the bigger courses were sold at about £1,000 per 3-day session, and the smaller courses right now that are but substantially shorter are priced, I think, about £300. So you can get that premium course. Most likely that's going to be live by the end of the month, but you can already have the coaching, which again was priced, I think it was about £100 an hour or something like that. So it's a lot of value you can get with ATFX. Not only do they have very tight spreads, but they also have those additional services as well, like this webinar. Okay, now let's take a look at the markets, and we're going to begin with the euro, which is trading sideways still. This is now moving upwards, and above this low, there was always a risk that we can go upwards, and this is exactly what's happening now. We could potentially go up maybe to something like 13.11 or something like that, but I personally think, given the way that the economy is going in the US versus Europe, that we could have a break here eventually, maybe already today or most likely on Friday. Now, today we have the ADP figures. The ADP figures are much more stable. Their volatility is far lower than what you will see for example, the non-farm payrolls. And I think the non-farm payrolls the ADP paint probably a better picture to the state of the labor market than the non-farm payrolls. Now, the ADP by itself is not going to help us to predict how people are going to react and how the numbers are going to be on Friday, but it still gives us a good indication of what's going on in the labor market. And according to the ADP, well, the labor market is perfectly fine, but of course that's different to the NFPs. We'll see what happens. Technically, there's no major change here to what I've been saying over the last few weeks and months. Break to the downside can take you lower. I'm looking at 108.50, 109, and as long as you're above this level, we're within the range, and we could potentially go up to maybe 113. As for the GBP versus the USD, the market continues to have a bit of a bullish upward bias, right? 129.52, that's the low here, and then we bounce from this level on March 21st, and now we bottomed out here in the beginning of April. It's looking good. Last time, though, the market did not go all the way up, so I think maybe we can keep this for a little bit longer, but then around 132, 133, it's probably a good spot to book profits. I think people are going to book profits here as they did last time. As for the dollar yen, it continues to trade sideways, and there's not too much we can do about this right now. Between 109.70 and 112.17, the market is trending sideways here. So bullish, bearish, and there's other pairs you can check out that are better for Aussie or for yen actually than this. Technically less challenging, where you can bet on a lower yen. As for gold prices, you might remember we said look to sell up here. Now it's perfectly fine to actually potentially look to it's perfectly fine actually to book profits down here as we discussed. And I think the next step here is either it swings back up to 1,300, and I think people will sell between 1,300 and 1,312.79. Alternatively, we just break below support, and that looks very interesting because you have a head and shoulders pattern with a head. Then you have this left shoulder, and then you have, actually do like this, and then you have the right shoulder up here. So it's looking really interesting here. The break to the neckline, which is here, would potentially lead to that decline. But I'm looking at the break of the actual low plus the neckline, okay? As for crude oil prices, they are literally on fire. This is going one way and one way up. And we've been talking about this for a long time. Of course, it was a bit choppy to trade. I was trying to trade this myself, but I got stopped out in the process. Now, looking at this today, remember the first target was this level on the break to this level here, and then we said on the break to this level here, then this is the target. So we reached two of these shorter term targets, and if you look at it from a big picture perspective, we are close to moving in on the lows here from June 2018. So the upside is getting limited. Now that doesn't mean that we should start to sell. It just means that it's time to book profits. I would probably book the whole thing, the whole profit right now, especially if you're long from these levels. So at least 50, if not 100, that's what I would have done. Of course, what you do is up to you. And then I would wait for that pullback and then retarget 63, 69. And then we'll see if we're going to go all the way up to the 60 level, which is a 68 level, which is the target of this head and shoulders. Next market, S&P 500. And the S&P 500, remains bullish. It's definitely overbought. And I'm not sure who's buying here. But the reason I think this is going upwards is because you probably have some shares that are having breakouts right now in the S&P 500, and in those shares it makes sense to buy, but that sort of just lifts this to the upside. Okay, now we talked about buying down here, right? That's what we said, look to buy. So here it's a good opportunity to book some profits if you want to. I do think though this is probably going to go to 2,900, and then if it comes down to these levels down here around 2,836, then I think people will buy again. As for the German DAX, look at that. It's literally on fire, and yeah, it's looking good. We just triggered that head and shoulders, and yeah, this was triggered yesterday. Technically, it's perfectly fine to buy on a head and shoulders on a breakout candle like that. Stop loss below here. The head and shoulders target itself goes like that, and I think we can theoretically again probably go up to maybe 12,456. The head and shoulders targets itself is up here. Again, it's not about what's happening right now in the German economy. It's what people think is going to happen in the next 9 months or a year. That's why they're buying, okay? Not because the data today is bad. We need to remember that. People easily forget that. They just look at in the rear mirror when they're taking trading decisions. Now, here again, I think it's definitely a bit overbought. I would definitely not be buying here, and I think probably we can do something like that. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered pretty much all of the main markets that we cover here at ATFX morning webinar. If you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat box and I'll see if I can help you. Okay, so I think we're going to wrap things up. If you have any questions during the day, you can ping me on the email you have there at alexalejandro.zambrano@atfx.com. You can also just reach out to me via Twitter at AlexFX00. So AlexFX00. Okay, have a great day, guys. Don't forget to like the videos, and as well, don't forget to check out our YouTube page at ATFX. Let me see here, ATFX UK. In here, I'm publishing videos, not only the morning webinars, so if you miss them out, you can just come here. I also publish these videos we do here at the office. Okay, we do one of these every day and one of these every day. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow same time. Thank you.